let's just hop right into the albums. Last month there was 3, 6, 9. Damn, you'll find.
Damn, you fine.
There were 9 9 albums that came out last year, and 1 song by Rich Satterfield, which we'll talk about at the end. And then I'll play the whole song at the end of the podcast. So stay tuned for that. Listen to some good country music. But first up, the first album. These aren't in any specific order. For a while, we ranked our top 10. Honorable mentions out of that, blah, blah, blah. But we're just going to kind of go through.
Yeah.
Because...
listen to music because it's good.
Yeah, at the end of the year, we're going to rank them, but not now. Anyway, first up is Stoney LaRue's Onward. Kevin is a huge Stoney LaRue fan. I do love this album. It's very bluesy, very rock. It's... Yeah.
I very much enjoy this album. I very much enjoy Stoney LaRue, and I was hooked from the fucking get-go because the first song is incredible.
Yeah.
You ought to know me by now. Oh,
and he covers Fallen and Flying, which is awesome. Because
he does.
That song is great.
When it started, I wasn't paying attention to the titles, so it just started playing. I was like, why do I feel like I've heard this before? Then it got to it. I'm like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. He must be a fan of Crazy Heart, which is awesome because that's a great movie anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't be not a fan of the music at least. Even if you're like, I don't care for the film, music is incredible. Ryan Bingham makes good music.
Yeah, the soundtrack of that album is so fucking good. But anyway, Stoney LaRue is really good, and it's a good album, and you should listen to it. It's called Onward.
Yes, you should. I want to say, I mean, I don't have any facts to back this up, but I feel like he hasn't had an album come out in a while.
I don't know.
Look up when his last album was. Like in my brain, I feel like it's been like 4 years, but maybe I'm just completely losing my mind. Like I thought he did
came out March of 2019.
Live album.
Just kidding. I haven't looked it up yet.
Oh, fuck me.
His album... Where the fuck are you at? Popular releases. Us Time came out in 2015.
Look who's so good at knowing exactly how long things have been apart. It's a really weird way to phrase that.
Yeah. But yeah, he hasn't put out one. I love his album Velvet, but... Yes, his last album was Us Time, which has the song Us Time, which is a fantastic song.
Yup. Would love to see him alive again.
Oh my god, I actually forgot that we saw him at Smoke.
And then I got on the Jumbotron.
Oh yeah, you and Josh were just flipping the bird to the... Or no, you were doing the...
No balls.
Oh yeah, you're doing the no balls thing, that's right. I knew you were doing something to the fucking camera.
Without anyone having any video of what we're doing, they're going to be like, yeah, you weren't flipping them off, you're doing the no balls. You're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, if we still live together, we can make this a video podcast, but... Alas, we do not.
Vomcast.
I was telling Kevin I was listening to the Christmas episode from 2 years ago because I wanted to get an idea of what we did so we can do a Christmas episode again this year. And I was just like, God, you can tell it's very subtle, but you can tell the difference of when you're in the same room together that via over the phone because it's just that extra half second of no delay of actually talking to each other. But obviously us doing it over the phone it still sounds good and still very professionally recorded. I mean... Nope,
I suck. I quit.
I mean, we're not professional, but the recording sounds professional.
Yes, true. This thing that I'm talking at was made by professionals for people who aren't me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's for people who actually do this professionally, and we are not. Next up is Aaron Enderlin's Faulkner County. Those of us who have been listening since the start know that we love Erin Enderlin. We had her actually on the podcast once. But her music is just so fucking good. And actually, I was listening to her Cowboy Christmas song earlier today because that is a fantastic Christmas song. And she wrote it.
Christmas music is so good.
Exactly. Well, that's a fantastic song.
That is a good song, and that is a good Christmas song. And it is great. But this album also is incredible.
Oh, my God. It's so good.
Like, she's got such a great voice that really, you know that there's a person who has a really good voice, but it doesn't necessarily blend with the backing too good. Her voice to me, fits with the country sound so well.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the way that you'll have like a long drawn out, guitar riff or a fiddle bit or a steel guitar thing, and she's like holding a note over it. It all layers together super nice, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, Erin Enderlin is amazing, and if you don't listen to her, what the fuck?
And if you don't listen to her, if you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you.
Exactly. Next up is Mickey and the Motor Cars, Long Time Coming. The only negative thing I really have to say about this is, I know I said like last week or a week before, whenever I said that this album came out, I said it sounds like them, and that's not a bad thing. But at the same time, there were a couple times when a song came out, I was like, didn't I already listen to this one? And it was just because their sound is very similar.
Yeah.
It's still really good. It's just sometimes I thought I heard
yeah,
this
no.
song.
I feel like it's kind of like the way that you can listen to like a classic rock radio station and like 4 different songs come on and you think it's the same band, but they're actually 4 different bands. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel, where it's like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you took their entire catalog and just like shuffled it, you might just kind of be like, am I listening to the same thing over and over again?
Yeah, outside of Once in a Lifetime Girl, because that song is amazing.
That song is great. I mean, I like a lot of their stuff. But.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not shit talking this album. It's just it's also one of those things where if you don't sit down and pay attention to each song you're listening to, it can all just kind of sound like it blends together.
Because it's like upbeat. It's like upbeat rock music. It's red dirt rock.
Yeah. Yeah, I do love Mickey and the Motor Cars though, so don't even though nothing I said there was super positive, it's a great fucking album and you should listen to it because
Mickey and the Motor Cars and Minnie and the Automobiles.
Exactly. Yeah. Great joke.
Points.
If I remember to, I would put an actual applause sound effect in there, but but I won't remember, and it won't be in there if you're listening to this.
R.I.P. in peace. It's in there in my heart.
Anyway, next up is Luke Combs. What you see is what you get. We talked extensively about him 2 weeks ago because we wanted to do an episode just discussing Luke Combs and his meteoric rise to fame and how fucking huge he got. But listening to this album, we didn't talk too much about the album itself that week. We just kind of talked about him in general and how we became fans. But this album, listening to it again a few times, there are some songs that I just fucking hate off this.
Absolutely.
Album.
Absolutely.
Like, and I don't want to be too negative about Luke Combs because obviously we just talked about how much we loved his music, but listening to this album, it made me kind of feel like he's a one-trick pony and he's already beating a dead horse.
And it's about fucking beers?
Yeah, it's about beer. It's the same thing of I'm ugly, but I got a hot girlfriend. Like, that is literally like 3 songs. If you listen to this album on Spotify, he has those little video things play with the songs, and his girlfriend is in like 4 of them. Like,
yeah, I think he's very early in his career, but he's already kind of gotten to that point where it's like you listen to the album to find the like handful of gems that are there because
like
they're
refrigerator
because
door,
gonna be there.
Even though I'm leaving. Doyer. Refrigerator door.
Dear. The even though I'm leaving is incredible. Frigidaire is good, and then the one song that I mentioned on that pod that I once again can't fuck around. I feel like it's called "Dear Today." It's like super stripped down. That one's incredible, and like that's the kind of shit that I'm like, I will. I'm not gonna buy the album because we live in a streaming world where I don't have to. But those are the kind of songs that I'll save, throw on a playlist, and re-listen to over and over again that make me constantly still. Excited about his career, despite the fact that he seems to only want to sing about varieties of ways that he could put his dick in and around a beer.
Yeah, and how he's a regular Joe. But
I wear these fishing shirts, and I drink beer, and I do that every day, forever.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing that I know we've probably talked about it before, but he has that song Moon Over Mexico, which I cannot stand. They auto-tune his voice in it. Why?
I don't understand. It's the same. It's the same fuckers that decided we should take the original version of "She Got the Best of Me" and remove it from the earth just so that we can overproduce his voice on a new version. It's like, who are these retards and where are they, so that I can literally blow them up?
I know I told you, like via text, but I don't know if I said on the podcast. I listened to "She Got the Best of Me" on YouTube again. And
it's incredible.
Like the OG version, and it is so fucking good. And I just don't get, like...
I can't listen to the new version. I understand if you never heard the original and you only heard the new one, you're like, oh, the song's still good, listen to the words. Yeah, I can't listen to the words when I'm so distracted by how they fucking ruined it.
Yeah. And then, I don't remember which song it was exactly, but it was one of those songs where it starts with, like, the computerized guitar and, like, the...
Oh,
it was like that stuff. I was like, dude, like when we saw him at once again an empty fucking bar before anyone knew Hurricane, he had a band and they were very raw sounding and it was perfect. And now he has this overproduced shit, and it's just like, his voice. I will never deny his singing talent.
It's incredible.
He has one of the best voices in country music right now. But if his music is starting to get more and more computerized and still just be the same fucking subject matter in every single song, it's gonna get old very quickly, and he's gonna be the next Luke Bryan, where everyone's like, "Oh, he's amazing," and it's like he was, but I can't respect this anymore.
Currently only has 2 full-length albums right now. And they're so similar. It's like, okay, like you've only had 2, so okay. But if you keep doing this shit, I swear to God.
Yeah, and it sucks because, as we said in that episode, as we said at the start of this fucking podcast in general, like the entire run of this podcast, we are huge Luke Combs fans, and it just sucks to see what's happening to his music right now. And yeah, but this album itself, obviously, all that was negative, but this album itself is still some of the best that mainstream country has to give. Like that's
for sure. And the fact that Even Though I'm Leaving is like charting as a single right now is really cool too, because that's not a happy song. So anytime a not happy song. Well, yeah, and anytime
it's uplifting
a song
and
like
sad.
Oh yeah, but like anytime a song like that can chart, it's like, hey, maybe there is a chance that the mainstream music society isn't just like brain dead, and then like the shit that also charts happens, and I'm like, no, never mind, the brain dead continues.
Exactly. Anyway, moving on to Steve Moakler, Blue Jeans. It's a 3-song, I think, so it's considered a single, not an EP. I don't know, but
it's a single EP.
This is one of those, I included it because I liked it, but like 2 of the songs are very not country, and I know Kevin's not a big fan of Stephen Moakler, but or Steve Moakler.
I'm sure his name's Steven.
Yeah. It's actually Stefan.
Stefan.
But I like it. It's definitely not country, so I'm not going to try and advertise it as such, but it's music that I like. I'm a fan of Steve Moakler, so if you like his music, listen to it. It's 3 good songs. Exactly. Next up is Larry Fleet's Workin' Hard. This is one of those that's very hit or miss for me, where there's some songs that are like fantastic, but then there's the occasional like contemporary pop-ish country sounding song, and I'm like, ugh. But overall,
did not actually listen to that one. That is one that I forgot existed until you just said it.
But yeah, it's a good album overall. But yeah, there are a few duds on there, but it's mostly a really good album that you should listen to.
That's good.
Next up is Ned Ledoux, Next in Line.
Good old Nedathan.
Yeah, so he is, I believe, the great uncle of Chris Ledoux, who is not alive anymore. No, just kidding. Ned Ledoux is the son of Chris Ledoux. if you're not completely dumb like me, but he sounds.
If you're half dumb.
He sounds exactly like his dad, and I don't mean to be like, oh, he's just being his dad. Like, he has his own sound, but his voice... It's just like how Ben Haggard sounds like Merle. Like, it's...
it's just... He's got the same genes, so it's not... you're not discounting his ability to be, oh, he's just copying his dad. No, he's doing his own thing. He just happens to be directly related to him, so they have a lot of similar characteristics.
Yeah, but
But
this
he
album
is incredible. His sound is, I mean, like you were just saying, sounds like Chris Ledoux, so it's obviously good.
Yeah, but it holds its own. It's not. I wouldn't want to be sitting there like if my dad was a podcaster, be like, our podcast sounds like my dad's podcast. Like I wouldn't want to do that comparison. He has a career on his own that's worth respecting. It's just it's a compliment to say like he is as good as his dad was, who is a country legend. So
yeah, absolutely. Don't just listen to Ned Ledoux's version of this Cowboys hat. Listen
Chase
to
Rice.
The rest of it. Yeah. Well, the best thing about that is that it's with Chase Rice, but I don't think Chase Rice does literally anything. I don't think he does a single thing on that whole song.
He beatbox.
Ah.
This Cowboys hat.
You can't touch that.
I wish I knew how to make
sounds
music
right.
on computers so I could fucking make that.
Ugh. So many stupid things. So many stupid things are stupid. But you know what's not stupid? Ned Ledoux. Listen to him. He's great.
It's fantastic. Next up is Tara Shannon's Where the Light Comes In. I fucking loved this album. I don't know if you listened to this one.
I quickly went through a few of them to get the feel of just what the sound was, and she sings very pretty, and it was very good.
Yeah, it's a fantastic album, and I suggest everyone listen to it. I don't have any.
Is it all religious-y, or was it just the songs that I clicked on and was kind of going through had
I think it was
it's not like straight up.
It's not
Jesus.
gospel music, yeah.
No, but like all the metaphor and shit, being religious.
I'm not entirely sure. I can't think of all this because it's one of those. Like I said, I kind of threw it all on shuffle, and it's just every time she came on, I just really enjoyed the songs.
And she tremendous singing voice.
Yeah,
absolutely tremendous singing voice.
Yeah. Next up is probably actually. All these are great, but I think it's not my favorite in terms of I like it better than all the others, but it was the biggest surprise. These are guys that have less than 1,000 plays like per song on Spotify, so they're very, lesser known. It's the Slow Later's self-titled album. I loved this album. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to this one.
I honestly feel like this was one that I checked out, but not in the last couple days, I don't remember it.
They're a very folky country type. For some reason, even though there's no piano and his voice doesn't sound the same, it reminds me of Ward Davis. I don't know why, but that's the one I thought of. Here, I'm going to cut it out of the actual recording, but I'm going to play a song by them quick. The Slow Taters.
The slow ladlers.
Exactly. All right. Anyway, so
that's solid. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, when it started, I remember the other person it reminded me of. It reminds me of Mike and the Moon Pies. They have that kind of
Mike Moon Pie.
Yeah, Mike Moon Pie and the Moon Pies. As everyone who listens to us knows, we fucking love that band more than
obviously. Moon Pie and the Moon Pies is incredible.
Moon Mike Pies and the Mike Poons. They're
Mike
fucking...
Pies and the Pie Moon Pie.
But yeah, so I'll describe I'll describe Slow Laters as a mix between Moon Pie and Wardy Mortician Davis.
Mike Davis and the Ward Moon Pie Wards.
Aneurysms.
Final answer.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that they're fantastic, and you should give them a listen.
Yeah.
And then finally, this isn't an album; it's just a single. I'm actually disclaimer friends with this guy, so he just kind of sends me music occasionally, and he's like, "Yo, can you shout this out?" And if it's good, I will, because I shout out good music, as literally the entire point of this fucking podcast is if you have good music, we want to talk about it. Like, I know I've said it on the podcast before.
This is clearly a political discussion about the merits of communism in the modern world.
It's a short podcast because I have nothing to say about that. So he sent me the song, and I was like, "This is fucking great." Because I still remember one time when Average Joe's, I used to be, I think I unsubscribed. They used to always
Average
send me
Joe's Gym.
they'd always send me their fucking like news thingies. Or I can't remember what they're called. Press releases. That one. And
Yes.
they sent me one. They're like, "Oh, this is an artist we think you'd really like, and you should have her on the podcast." And I listened to her music, and it was literally like The Lax, but a female. And I was just like, I literally replied. Obviously, I was very professional about it. I was like, "I'm sorry, this isn't the type of music that we promote on our podcast. If you have anything, different, send it our way. But this is not what we do." But so he sent me the song, and I really liked it. I think the best I can describe it, if you don't listen all the way to the end and listen to the song, which you should, it sounds like early Brantley Gilbert of rock country, but with like not shitty motorcycle noises. So I think it's definitely worth listening to.
I started listening to it. I didn't listen to the entirety of it, but I listened to like a good 2 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Before I was, flipping through 1,000 things, and I liked it a lot. I didn't even realize that he was. I mean, I guess I could tell that it wasn't like fucking, this guy's got hundreds of thousands of listens and shit. But like,
yeah.
I wouldn't even thought that it was, pretty small time. But now I liked it.
Yeah, and I don't mean like we're best friends and we went to school together. I mean that we're friends on Facebook and he sends me music occasionally.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But it's like, that's really fucking cool. I liked it a lot. I look forward to checking more of his stuff out.
Yeah, he had one song. I'm going to look it up right now because I want to shout it. I put it at the end of an episode like a year or two ago, which is still my favorite.
Maybe that's why I recognize the name. Because like when you said it, I was like, yeah, why do I feel like I know this name? I bet it was when you put it on the end of it before I listened to it then. And then I probably will hear it and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that shit.
Yeah, the song that he sent me that I put on before was no, not that one. More Than Memories. It's like a 7-minute song, but he wrote it about his friend who passed away, and it's really fucking good. I think it's 7 minutes. It might be 6 minutes. That's what it is. Yeah, it's a long song, but it's really good. But Some Things Never Die, I'm gonna put on the end of this episode. You should all listen to Rich Satterfield. He's a great artist.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's
and
it
7
for
years ago.
I mean, obviously more came out in November, but me being busy, and I looked up everything I could that came out that month. It might have been a slower month. I'm sure I missed albums. I miss albums every month because I'm not fucking in this industry. We just talk about this industry, so we don't have all of the album releases. But these are the ones you should listen to for sure.